guy was a ex CFL guy. He'd throw the kids up against the wall. He was a phys ed teacher, throw them up against the wall where the mat was. There was tough days.
That's what it has to go back to, Jim.
Choker was my homeroom teacher.
The best part is if you got in trouble at school and got the strap, when you came home and your dad found out, you got it again.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock. I'd like to call the meeting to order. We'll have a moment of reflection, please. Thank you. Disclosure of pecuniary interest. Seeing none, no public meetings, no presentations, consent agenda. Is there anything council would like to pull?
Here.
Councillor Cox.
F2.1, 2.1.
Okay, thank you. Any others? Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
I do. So the motion reads that the agenda be adopted, including consent items, with the exception of item number F2.1.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Stevens, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. H1, Planning and Development, proposed or planning report number P22-018, reproposed telecommunications tower 1467 Anderson Line. Good morning, Brad.
Good morning, Council.
How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So I won't say too much on this. The report mostly speaks for itself, but I did just want to mention to Council, as I had mentioned in the report, that we would provide an update on the public correspondence that was received for this application by the closing of the public consultation period by April 25th. So the applicant did provide staff with an update on the 26th, and there has been no public correspondence received as part of the consultation. Thank you.
Thank you. Does anyone have any comments? Seeing none, Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
Thank you, Worship. So the motion reads that the planning report number P22-018 dated May 4th, 2022, with respect to a proposed telecommunications tower at 1467 Anderson Line be received. And further, that the Township of Severn supports the proposal as presented in attachment 2 to the staff report P22-018. And further, that the Director of Planning and Development be authorized to provide written municipal concurrence for the ISCD application to give effect to the Township's endorsement in substantial conformity with attachment 4 to staff report P22-018.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor McIntyre, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to H2.1, Chief Administrative Officer, report number CAAO 2022-02, refloating cottage, container cottages, response to Gloucester Pool Cottagers Associations. Madam CAO. Oh, you're on mute, Lori.
I turned my camera off and not my microphone on. Sorry about that. You'll remember that Council received a delegation from Gloucester Pool Cottage Association. They left some questions for Council to consider, mainly centered on whether Council would consider a bylaw restricting floating accommodations similar to what Georgian Bay implemented. Staff reviewed the matter and recommended that we believe that it's premature to do so at this time. Staff agree that this could become a very serious matter, and we are concerned about it and share Gloucester Pool's concerns. However, both Transport Canada and MNRF, or whatever they're calling themselves these days, are both looking into the issue, and their jurisdiction over it is much clearer than ours. Although Georgian Bay has done a bylaw, it has not yet been tested, and planning staff have reservations on whether on its level of enforceability. So at this time, staff will recommend that council continue to lobby the provincial and federal governments to develop a more comprehensive solution rather than pursuing our own one-off solution that may be difficult to enforce.
Any comments? Thank you, Madam CAO. Councillor Taylor.
Thanks for the report through the mayor. This isn't just a Ward 1 issue. It has implications across the township, particularly wards 5, 4, 3, and 1. We have to do everything we can to deter and stop this. We owe it to the property owners of shoreline properties. So we have to do what we can. In the report, it says Georgian Bay has invested a lot of resources into this. This makes sense because the problem is currently has been in Georgian Bay and not yet in Severn. Bingo, we should be proactive. This is very close to Severn. If not, it already is in Severn. And we should be proactive and do what we can to stop it. Staff is very busy, and in the CAO's report, they mentioned the different official plan, et cetera. Aurelia land needs study. Well, my understanding is that's been put on the shelf for a year. So that's one less thing. And I think that we have to go above and beyond and do what we can, even though you may think it's not going to work, but we have to do something. How can we sit there if Georgian Bay can deter it from their side and it creeps over to our side and we haven't done a darn thing? Shame on us. So I would propose that staff prepare a bylaw similar to the Township of Georgian Bay, 2014-75, section 4.6. We have to do something, and if we put our heads in the sand and do nothing, that's not good enough for our taxpayers.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor, I don't know what we can do because it's a federal problem on Gloucester Pool and federal land, but we've got to do something because I know Councillor Taylor and Ward 1 gets hammered and they're copying me on it too. And I don't know what we can tell them other than it's not a municipal problem, it's a federal problem. And until we can get some response back from the feds, I don't know what we can do, but I would certainly like to see something go up on our website that we can direct them to our website, because we're sitting here, our hands in the air going, we can't do anything for you. So I don't know what, if there's any other comments on this, what people can say.
Does anyone have any other comments? Councillor Cox.
Yes, through the chair. Yeah, it is. It is a federal issue. And the other issue is it's a vessel. And that is one of our biggest problems because it can moor wherever it wants. And if they're out in the water and put an anchor down, there's nothing we can do to stop them. And they haven't been surveyed yet, which boats mostly, well, any boat has to be. They haven't even made them do that. And I think that there wasn't something I read somewhere was that they'd asked them to go in and look at this to ensure that it was a safe vessel, and that hadn't even been done yet. So bottom line, it is a federal issue. And I think it needs to be, go back up that ladder again or have something on our website.
Any further comments? So I'll just, okay, Councillor Bedsworth, go ahead. You're on mute, John.
Sorry, okay. One thing I wanted to say, what do they do with the effluent? Is there not an environmental challenge that we can make here with regard to the effluent that's going to come from those things?
Madam CAO?
It's certainly a concern. The owners say that they incinerate it, but we have passed that concern on to the MOE. It would be a concern for sure.
Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Through the mayor, even with incineration, there's ashes. It doesn't just disappear into the air. There's ashes left. And where do they go? Do they just dump them into the water? Where do they go? But I think Member Taylor had asked that the SSEA be involved in this, and we've never heard back from them. Have we, Lori?
Honestly, I don't know that we've spoken to the SSEA about it. I mean, they wouldn't have any more jurisdiction than we have. If you've asked us, I don't know that we have, unless, oh, Allison popped up, so maybe she has.
Through you, Mr. Chair. So the motion that requested the involvement of SSCA was only passed at corporate services last week. And typically staff wait to action those motions until they come through council and get ratified. So that engagement would happen after today's meeting.
Thank you. Did you want to say something, Councillor Taylor?
No, that's what I was going to say. But like, not only if the stuff gets incinerated, if it does, they're allowed to put the gray water into the water, and gray water has bacteria when you wash your hands. Like, it's so silly in Severn Sound of all areas to pollute it there. And I'd still like to see my motion read if at a chance.
Councillor McIntyre.
As through the chair, I'm in agreement with Councillor Taylor on this one. We got to do something. We can't just sit back and do nothing. As the deputy has said, even if it's up on the website or something, we need to be visible with respect to our stance on it. We don't want them, and if it's a federal matter, we still need to be on the record that we're not for it somewhere.
Any further comments? So I will speak now, and I will, when this first came up, I reached out to Bruce Stanton, as you all know, and I'll just reiterate what Bruce said to me, is that it is a federal matter. And he said, leave it with us. So as soon as Adam Chambers was elected, it was my first phone call to him to make him aware of what was happening. And he is working on it. And we did see him at the 100th anniversary of the hospital celebration a couple of weeks ago. And he said there was going to be something come out of it. So just hang on. I'm in full support of placing something on our website, but I think it's premature to do any bylaws at this stage. We know that all bylaws can be challenged. And yes, we want to be proactive to member Councillor Taylor's comments, but I think let's just hang on for a bit. Let's just see what Adam comes back with, because Transport Canada, to Councillor Cox's comments, has deemed this a vessel. And we all remember the meeting that Deputy Mayor Dunlop, Councillor Taylor, Madam CAO, and myself had with the ministry, and they took all our concerns down. We voiced our concerns, and I remember Deputy Mayor Dunlop saying the length of time that these vessels were anchored to Crown land needs to change as well. So they have all that information. So in all fairness, let's give them another bit of time and a chance to come back with their comments. Madam CAO.
If council would like to see something on our website, we could put the letter that we've written to MP Chambers. We could put the feedback that we provided to the MNR and contact your MP. You know, the council is concerned about this issue, but it's a Transport Canada matter, and here's the number of your MP. That's how you keep the pressure on.
I agree.
Councillor Taylor.
No, that might be a backup plan in addition to, because time is marching on here, and we know how time affects us getting stuff done. It's even heavily more involved with the federals, and I don't think we have that time. It should be supplementary. Ours should be supplementary to whatever the feds do. So we should do our thing first. We can't. We have to do something, and this is the least we can do for our taxpayers out there. So that's what I'm asking for.
I'm fully supportive of trying to do something if I thought it was going to work. But we have no grounds or meat to make it work in a bylaw. It's not no different than the short-term rentals than what happened. And I don't want to get into an argument, but I'm happy to place it on our website. And I think that's the route we should go. And I think give our MP a chance to come back with some grounds that we can at least have some teeth to create a bylaw to stop these culprits. Councillor Betsworth, did you want to say something?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've always found that what you should do is try to keep the piece of paper on the top of the pile. So I think a letter from yourself, Mayor, back to Adam Chambers now, saying it was so nice to see you at the 100th anniversary celebration. And just to summarize our conversation on the blah, blah, blah subject, we're waiting anxiously for your reply with regard to any legislation or any action that the federal government is anticipating. And your earliest reply would be much appreciated.
Thank you. Deputy Mayor Dunlop. You're on mute, Jane.
I'm sorry. I'm going to go back to let's get it on our website and put Adam Chambers, all his information there, his email, his office telephone numbers. And I agree with Member Betsworth for our mayor to forward a letter to him, but also in adding, tell him we put it on our website with his information. So get it on Adam's shoulders big time now, because he should know what's going on our website. And maybe it might just push him a bit harder. So I would agree, get it on the website, get Adam's name on there. Our mayor forward a letter saying it's on there.
Thank you. Did you capture all that, Madam Clerk?
I believe so.
Thank you.
So,
any further comments?
Okay, so it seems from discussion that we're going the way of the website and correspondence. I know Councillor Taylor had put forward a proposed motion as well, seeking some direction from council as to how you'd like to proceed.
Would you like that motion on the floor to see if there's an appetite for it, Councillor Taylor?
I'd like to do that. There's two motions, my motion and then the second one.
Okay, so Councillor Taylor, if I can have your motion again, that would be great.
Yeah, to have staff prepare a bylaw similar to the Township of Georgian Bay, 2014-75, section 4.6.
Okay, I'm going to get you to slow down there for me. My fingers type only so fast.
Okay,
okay, so that staff prepare bylaw similar to the Township of Georgian Bay's bylaw number, sorry.
2014-75. Section 4.6. And I still think it's great that we involve the feds, but it might be this is being proactive in doing what we can for our taxpayers. And I'd like to have this as a recorded vote, please.
Give me one moment here. Okay, so we'll deal with Councillor Taylor's motion first, and then we'll read the one attached to the staff report, which will have the following additional information added to it, and further that information on the matter be added to the township's website, and that that correspondence be sent to Adam Chambers MP seeking an update on the matter. So that extra paragraph will be added to the one with the staff report. But first off, recorded vote requested by Member Taylor.
Sorry, Madam Clerk, Deputy Mayor Dunlop wants to speak.
Oh, sorry, Jane.
So through the mayor, Allison, please, I know there was a lot in that second motion, but please make sure that Adam knows it's on our website now. That's only courtesy that he knows that. Thank you.
We shall include that in the correspondence that goes to him. Okay, so the first motion, again, recorded vote requested by Councillor Taylor, that staff prepare a bylaw similar to the Township of Georgian Bay's bylaw number 2014-75, section 4.6. I need a mover and a seconder
for that. Oh yeah.
Would like to move it? Councillor Taylor, seconder, Deputy Mayor Dunlop.
Thank you. Okay. Again, recorded vote requested by Councillor Taylor. Councillor Taylor, for or against?
Yes.
Thank you. Councillor Cox, for or against? That's against. Councillor Betsworth, for or against?
For.
Okay, Councillor Stevens, for or against? Against. Councillor McIntyre, for or against? Okay, that's 4. Deputy Mayor Dunlop, for or against? And Mayor Burkett, for or against?
Against.
Motion is lost. Okay, going to the other motion. So the motion reads, be it resolved that the Township of Severn continue to monitor the concerns around floating cottage accommodations and any developments made with respect to enforcement from all levels of government, And further, that information on the matter be added to the township's website and that correspondence be sent to Adam Chambers MP seeking an update on the matter and advising that his name shall be on our website.
Councillor Cox, did you want to say something? No, you're on mute, Judith.
Through the chair to the CAO. Lori, when would the comments cutoff date for that MMNR questionnaire? Do you remember?
I don't remember through your worship. I don't remember the exact date, but I know it's passed because
it's passed, right?
We sent it in before we put it on a council agenda because the timing didn't work. So it has definitely passed.
And I think we have to remember it would take a while for all the comments to come in and them to put them together to come back with something also for Adam to know too. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so for you, your worship.
Okay, mover and a seconder, please, for the motion that's on the floor. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dunlop, second by Councillor Bettesworth. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. New business, we'll go back to Councillor Cox, F 2.1.
Yeah, through the chair. I just think we should support this. I think it's a very important, it is important. It's the year of the garden. Excuse me. Also, the gardens are some places for people to go, and it has become very important during the pandemic for people. And also the pollinators and the fact that we are a bee community. So I would just like us to endorse this, please.
Thank you. Any further comments? Madam Clerk, do you have a motion?
Certainly. So the motion reads that the Township of Severn support the resolution from the town of Gravenhurst in celebrating 2022 as the year of the garden.
Thank you. Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Deputy Mayor Dunlop. All in favor? It's carried. Thank you. Madam Clerk, general bylaws.
Thank you. Motion reads that bylaws number 2022 through 2025, inclusive, be and are hereby now read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Stevens, second by Councillor Bettesworth. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. Announcements. Any announcements? No. No closed session. Confirmation bylaw, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Motion reads that bylaw number 2022-26 be and is hereby read a first, second, third time and finally passed.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Councillor Cox, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That's carried. Adjournment. Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Motion reads that this meeting be and is hereby now adjourned at 9:21 a.m.
Mover and a seconder, please. Moved by Deputy Mayor Dunlop, second by Councillor Stevens. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you very much, everyone.